All right. Hi, everyone. Hola a todos. Let me just check that I am live on this side of things. And I think I am. If you're watching live, let me know. Comment below. If you are watching the replay, comment replay. I'm trying to see how I can make this on Instagram as well. So, technology. And as I mentioned earlier, I was running a little bit late today because um not really a good excuse, to be honest, but I'm gonna just share with you. I thought the dogs had more food than they did, and so I had to last minute go get them some food and just make sure that my puppies are fed because they too are babies, right? So let's see if I can make this work here. Let's see. And it is hot. I'm sorry that I'm breathing really hard, yo. Being pregnant in the summer is it's tough. I'm not gonna complain about it. It's part of the journey. Um so it's just more of like the struggle. The struggle of just being pregnant in the summer, really. So, and this won't be a long live, I promise you. Um okay, let's see if this works. And if you're watching the replay, great. Let me know what you think. I'll be looking at this camera and this camera as well. And if you are watching through Facebook, I may share some slides as well. So you'll get some of those visuals here on Instagram. I don't really know how to do that, but if you get the replay or if you want the replay, let me know. That's funny. I wasn't recording on Instagram. These things can happen. Hello, everyone on Instagram. So good to see you. I'll be looking at this camera and this camera somehow. I'm going to try to make this work as best as I can. And, going into this today, I kind of last minute scheduled this because, well, I'm getting close to getting in that window of possibly welcoming our baby. And there's other women who I've met through just centering and just through networking who are also expecting babies soon, or maybe just had their baby. Congratulations if you did. And so I wanted to create this to talk a little bit about these emotions through pregnancy, what you need to or can do, because I don't have the answers. I'm going through the journey myself, right? To help yourself get to this point of labor. Because something I've been telling people has been that, to be honest, I feel more prepared about going into labor than the next chapter, which is the parenting part. That's another thing, right? To really talk about. And I've been a parent, you can say, for about 8 years in the step parent category. He's my what do we say? Oh, the bonus child, right? And it's been great. It's been an adventure, let's just put it that way. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about myself here in a second. So it's been an adventure, both as a stepmom and going through pregnancy now. And then I'm sure it'll be another adventure coming into this as a biological mama, right? All right. So who am I? Okay. So my name is Carla Rodriguez. I'm a NLP coach, trainer, the founder of MetaFit MetaMind, MetaFit MetaMind Academy, and the podcast as well. And I've been a doula as well. Um when I was in college, my sophomore year, I had a lot of experiences that led me to searching more about birth, searching more about babies. A lot of my friends were have getting pregnant at the time. I think I was 19, 20, 21, somewhere along those lines. And I was like, oh, well, what's this and what's that? And so I started to get into this curiosity of tell me more about pregnancy. Tell me more about this knowledge, this stuff that is new to most of us. And for some reason, I had this calling, this thing that I said, do we really have to do everything that they tell us to? Right? Can we somehow get better answers, better outcomes? Because all I was hearing at the time was the scary stories, if you want to put it that way. And so I wanted to know more. So I Googled a lot. And I found myself finding this program in which I was going to be certified as a doula. And that's where that adventure started. And I learned so much at the time. I was able to attend about 23 births. I think it was 23 births. Two were cesarean births, and the rest were either at the hospital or at a birth center, either in a tub or out of the tub, which is water birth, or even sometimes the shower, right? If it was at the birth center. And yeah, so I always, once I got into being a birth worker, I didn't have as much knowledge as I do now, but it opened my world up to your empowerment in this phase of your life, in this phase of getting ready to welcome a new being, welcoming someone that is part of you for 9 months and who will continue to be part of you for 18 years and plus. Because even if someone is 18 and they're an adult, they will always be connected to you as the mom, as the mother. And it's just a very interesting thing to come into now as now as me experiencing this, yeah. As a doula, I've learned so much. I've learned, pregnancy, the stages of labor, from, pregnancy, how come into this, and when baby first is fertilized, right? How they go from a zygote to the next phase, to the fetus, to being a chunky baby. Yeah. And right now I'm at 30, how many weeks am I? 34 weeks, actually. I'm 34 weeks. And so, the apps will tell you, oh, yeah, your baby is now starting to get chunky. And now they're going to be able to do well outside of the womb. Should anything happen, knock on wood, I'm free from this. And so, through this whole pregnancy, though, I'm talking in first point perspective, right? And also, I'm going to come into the emotional part of this. There has been a lot of emotions, right? And tell me in the comments, right, if your pregnancy, whether first, second, third, fourth, fifth, more, I don't know, was it planned, or was it surprise? Okay? And give me 1 second, because it seems like there is a puppy upstairs, and that is not okay. So, give me 1 second and I'll be right back. All right. Thank you so much for coming back and being patient with me. I had to do some puppy parenting. And yeah. So where was I at? Oh yeah, the experience here. Part of this is about slowing down. This is something that I'm learning as I go. This is something that I can't just be like this all the time anymore. Yes, it's part of it, but at the same time, there's so much more to this. It's an adventure. We're going from our little seedling to soon welcoming a little human creature into the earth, into this earth side. Yeah. So, so let's talk about emotions. Let's talk how to empower yourself in this process that we call mm, maybe motherhood, maybe this process of what would I call this process? This process of preparing ourselves. And a lot of this are is based on our previous human experience. So I come from the background, not just as a doula, but throughout the years, and now I'm certified and I've learned so much and I continue to learn. It's about understanding our inner world. It is about understanding what we see may be different than what you see. What I hear may be completely different than what that person hears. What I feel, and especially in this pregnancy, is not the same as you, mama to be, who is feeling a different sort of way. I've spoken to several moms recently, or moms to be, right? And one of the most common feelings about this adventure has been that you've been experiencing fear, that you've been experiencing stress, that you've been experiencing maybe anxiousness, right, which is part of the fear. That you've possibly been experiencing some happiness, of course, right? But you've also are nervous possibly, and you're free from this about your experience that will take place at either the hospital, at either the birth center, or maybe at home. Oh, yo, I feel so much better now that I slowed down here. I thought I had to rush this. And let me tell you this, emotions, your emotions, are reactions that human beings experience in response to events or situations. Pretty much. Okay. Let me share this here on Facebook. How do I do this? Share my screen. Who's here? Who's here for adaptability? That's right. So, again, your emotions are reactions that human beings experience in response to events or situations. With this being said, it is about understanding that we gather in so much information per second. We are literally intaking 11 million bits of information per second. It could possibly be more because of all the screens that we have, right? The things that we have to act upon really fast. And so this is a response. Our emotions, we may see something, we feel something, right? We may hear something, we feel something. And in the birth world, in the pregnancy journey, we hear a lot of stories. We may be on YouTube looking at all the birth stories, yeah? And part of this can cause us to feel certain emotions, right? And so I want to share this emotion wheel that I was able to find a few months ago. And I found it very interesting, right? That we can have emotions like anger, like sadness. We can also have emotions of excitement and happiness and surprise, maybe some shame, right? Were you ready to have this kid or not? And I don't mean ready like to be ready, but was this baby a surprise, right? Is what I mean. Is there some kind of, let's see, what's one of these emotions? Elation that you finally are in this adventure of welcoming or almost welcoming in your baby, right? So these are some emotions that I, have found. When we go to these emotions of anger, of sadness, of disgust, shame, fear, what do you think causes this? What do you think this causes your body? What does it make your body do? Okay. What's the difference between excitement and fear? The energy level between excitement and fear is actually pretty similar as far as wavelengths. But how is it that you're using those emotions for yourself? Okay. So in the first trimester, let's talk about this. In the first trimester, you may be excited. You may be nervous, right? You may feel all of these things that you don't fully understand. Maybe now you want to go into a place of acceptance, right? How can you use acceptance for yourself, for your body? Because acceptance is a challenging one, I will say, even personally, as our body's changing, as our body's growing, as our body's gaining the weight. I'm going to tell you this, that's been one of my most common having to remind myself of is having to accept the change. Because medically, you're going to be told if you're this weight, you're going to possibly gain between this many pounds and this many pounds. If you're in this weight category, you're going to gain, or you're required to, or recommended weight, you will be gaining between this amount of weight and this amount of weight. So, how can you use the acceptance of yourself in this process, right? Someone that I was talking to earlier, she's still early, kind of early on, halfway in her pregnancy. And she's in this place of sometimes maybe accepting that her body's going to change, and sometimes wondering, oh my God, how is my body going to change? Yeah. Because then how will I get back to normal? Yeah. Whatever normal is. Then the next thing you have to go into is that self compassion. The first trimester of pregnancy, some of you may have experienced nausea, throwing up, sleepiness. You may have experienced weird crampy pains. That's one of the ones that I felt. Another one that could bring that other emotion you're free from this of shame could be you're either constipated or you have diarrhea. You never really know, right? It's pregnancy, yo. And so you have to come in and look at self compassion. How can you give yourself that grace? How can you give yourself that honoring of yourself that you are literally building organs and all these other systems in the body, right? So you have to honor yourself. Now, how can you take some self responsibility in these emotions that you are experiencing, right? This is the first trimester, okay? And in the first trimester, you just personally, you're free from this. I didn't feel great. I was tired all the time. I just wanted to sleep. I didn't want to eat food that I used to like. I couldn't like anymore, right? I had to accept that. I had to do the self compassion part. And at the same time, take that self responsibility, that self ownership to determine what do I need at this moment in order for me to have a somewhat good first trimester. There's all these worries. Honestly, I went into like anxious mode a lot of times because my body was doing things that I didn't understand. As I mentioned in the beginning, as a doula, consciously I know what can or cannot happen or shouldn't happen, right? But experiencing it in first person point of view is so different, right? And I came in with the curiosity and I said, even though I know this knowledge, I'm going to go in as a student, right? And so that's part of the self-ownership that I took, was that I wanted to be open and learn as much as I could for myself, right? And at the same time do the compassion thing, because I said, I know this stuff. Why is this happening? Why do I still feel this anxiousness? And I Googled things that made me feel more anxious. And I know we say don't Google stuff, but we're probably going to end up doing it, right? How can we start to, you know, be responsible for those feelings in the beginning through the physical changes? Okay. So let's talk empowerment here. So, empowerment, I want you to, not right now, but at your own time, and let me know how it goes. I want you to journal maybe 1 to 3 minutes on what comes up for you when you think of empowerment during your pregnancy journey. You can even split it into first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. How did I empower myself, or maybe not empower myself, during these phases? Okay. If you're still early on, great. How are you empowering yourself right now? And I want you to take this time, because I will tell you that first trimester wasn't happening. It was challenging. Okay. And I will be the first to admit that when we talk about empowerment, we have to think about one of my favorite things that I love to talk about is cause and effect, right? What is the difference between being at cause and being an effect, especially during pregnancy? Yeah. Because we're in this other space of, oh wow, I'm creating life in my body, right? How can I get out of being in effect? So effect is when you are the one that is being driven in your life, the one that you may be in a passenger in a bus, and when you turn up you're like, oh, I guess we turned in another street. Okay. It's where you have your excuses, the reasons why or why something didn't happen, right? And that will take you into this spiral or into these spaces that you may or may not have known that you wanted to be at. It may take you to some results, right? But are those results what you wanted or not? So when we talk about cause in which you are taking more action, in which you are literally applying feedback. You're driving your own vehicle. You're the one that says, yes, I'm going to go this way. No, I'm not going to go this way. Where you can tell your doctors, your practitioners, whoever, hey, I want to be empowered in this. So I want you to give me the knowledge that I need. I'm going to do my research in this, and then I'll tell you a response. Because just because you're the expert in this doesn't mean that I have to allow you or let myself be deterred because you know what's best, right? And that's one of those things that we get into in these conversations, is just because someone is an expert doesn't mean that they're right, because who's the one that knows your body, right? Who's the one that feels your body? So it's about knowing how to, all right, let me take this in. How can I empower myself in this decision making process? Okay. Now, when it comes to this, you know, it's about understanding what are the beliefs that we have behind the stories of pregnancy, of birth. And trust me, I'm not saying that people don't have terrible experiences during pregnancy. I'm not saying that every outcome is the best outcome, but I'm here because I want us to understand the emotional aspects of this, and how this can lead us to empowerment, and how this can lead us to having the labor that we want, or as close to it as we want. I'll tell you this, I don't have a birth plan. I mean, I have the outline, you can say, but I've decided to just believe in my body. I've decided to say, you know what, I'm not going to just be closed minded about certain things, and I'm going to be open, but I'm going to go in with empowering myself in these decisions that I need to make. Okay. So, belief, right, is a series of decisions that eventually add up to making a strong assumption, right? When we go into these beliefs, we can go into mm, deletions of information, distortions of information, and generalization of information as well. Okay. And this is all based on how we've taken in information in our life. What have we seen, heard, felt, right, in our life that has caused us to feel this stuff and generalize information and distort information and delete other information that then leads us to our emotional state, that leads us to our reactions or our focus, which will lead us to the outcomes, right? Those results. Okay. And so there's several things that we do in our mind, which I'm not going to go fully into, but we all have our internal world. Okay. We see things, we feel things, we hear things, we can smell things, we can taste things, and we can even have ourselves talk, right? So that focus, wherever our focus is, will take us to our behavior, which will take us to our results. So now let me ask you this, okay? During this pregnancy, where has your focus been? Has your focus been on, oh my God, like labor scares me? Um, what if this? What if that? What if worst case scenario this? What if worst case scenario that? Or pregnancy, man, it's summer, it's the worst, la da da da. Where is your focus, yo? Okay. Because that focus will give you the behavior, which will give you the results, right? Those emotions, those things. Okay. Hold on, my baby. It's pushing on me. So I want you to think about and determine, where is this focus? All right. And then you have to think about, what are your values in this pregnancy for you? Are you and your partner and in similar values? Or if you're not doing with the partner, then you just get to decide that, right? But values are basically high level generalizations that describe what is important to you. So I want you to determine, what is important to you about this pregnancy, about empowering yourself more specifically. Okay, I want you to really think about empowering yourself and what is important to you about empowering yourself during this journey. Start with that. Okay. And so then I want you to think about, what is that ideal outcome that you'd like, right? But not in like the idealized that, oh my God, I don't want anything else to happen. Right. But what are some like the best outcomes that you are open to? Yeah. So we've gone through pregnancy, right? First trimester emotions. Then we go into second trimester. Second trimester is actually, like most people say, it is easier. We're growing, but we're not so tired. We got some more energy. Maybe your mind is more clear. And so then you have to come in and think about, hey, how do I feel now? I feel empowered. I feel great. Okay, how can I take these emotions into the next trimester? Because now I'm in the third trimester. The Some of the feelings or similar symptoms from the first trimester have come back. Really, it's more of the tiredness and the just the changes happening again pretty fast, because this is the time when baby's growing the fastest again, right? So what can I take from my second trimester and use it here in the third trimester? And I want to get to this conversation because I don't want to make this video super duper long, even though I probably already did. Hello, cousin. And so I almost went and spoke Spanish because my cousin is on. So now, talking about this third trimester, everybody will ask you, how do you feel? Are you ready for labor? Are you ready for the kid? What are your expectations? And this can lead you into going into these feelings of anxiousness again. It can take you into this feeling of like, oh my God, I don't know. It's part of the unknown here, right? And it's one of those things where it's you have to let go of those expectations right now. You just have to know what's best for you. How are you continuing to empower yourself in this process? right? And so in this case, for me, labor is one of those things that I feel excited about. Interesting. I know that I'm excited about this. But here's the thing, okay? The best way, in my personal opinion, you can accept or reject any of this that I'm telling you. I always love to take the permissive approach. And if it applies to you, great. So with this, you have to go in and already thinking, what are emotions that have come up for me that feel uncomfortable regarding labor? What have I heard about labor? What have I not heard about labor? Then you can ask yourself, am I this person or not? No, we can take feedback. We can, listen to some of these things, but you get to choose. You get to choose if you're going to be the driver of your vehicle, if you're going to allow those things that you hear to drive you in the direction that it or they or situation wants. Okay. And so, with that being said, labor has its own stages of change, right? It's got its own things that come up with it. And so you have to now think about cause and effect. How can I bring myself to cause? How can I bring myself to empowering myself? How can I drive my own vehicle to know that labor is going to come with whatever labor comes, right? Because when you do that and you let go of the expectations, your emotions will sway away from fear, from anxiousness, from sadness, from, oh my God, the unknown. And they're going to go into like acceptance, the self compassion, the self responsibility, right? Those are some of the three that I've wanted to like really connect with here as well to land for you. Hi, Erin. Oh my God. We got to chat. So you have to know, what was the first one that I said? Your responsibility, your self compassion, and your acceptance. Yeah. How can you use these three to empower yourself, right? When it comes to labor and birth. For one, let me remind you that you've probably already done a lot of research, watched videos, listened to podcasts. You've probably done all of this already. Okay. So you know the knowledge, right? Cool. Now, what I want you to do is, yes, keep some of the information, but in scrap most of it and thinking that that is you or that is not you, because you are you. That is who you are. I am not you. You are not me. We may be a mirror of each other in some sort of way, but we are not the same. We experience the world so differently. Our pregnancy journey is probably very, very different. Maybe similar, but probably also very different. I'm going to tell you right now that my feet are super swollen. Okay. And maybe your feet at 34 weeks were not swollen. Okay. Maybe you have not gained all the weight that I have gained, right? Maybe you have had a very not super change in your body. Okay. But when it comes to labor is going to come with its stages of labor. There's going to be early labor. Some people have prodromal labor, and that's when labor is actually started like days before. And then you may go into these emotions and it just lasts longer, right? How can you use acceptance in this space where you're in early labor? Okay. Then you go into your self compassion, right? The self compassion as you're going into active labor. Active labor is going to come with ups and downs and lefts and rights and turns and twists and changes and all the physical things, right? You know this knowledge already. You already know that if you're a second time parent, then you already know a lot of the expectations or things that you've experienced in your birth. But if you've already also experienced birth before, I want you to scrap that as well. Keep some of the knowledge, of course, but how the experience is going to go. Because your second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time plus experience here, right? For me, it's first time um, for me, right? But I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it because I know consciously that it's going to come with the emotions up and down and sideways and backways, and it's going to come with the physical discomforts. And one of the ways that I've decided to empower myself and use this is by acknowledging, accepting that there will be physical discomforts with this. But yo, let me remind you, mamas to be or mamas that you are, that we are meant to do this, right? We are meant to go through this experience if we are meant to go through the experience, and that you are fucking stronger than you think you are, okay? I have this tattoo right here that I got after I became a doula because I believe all of you to be the freaking lioness that you are, to take care of that cub, to welcome it into this world, and that you are so capable. I believe in you. Now it's about you believing in yourself, right? And I want you to believe that this is one of the things that only we can do. This is one of those things that only we can do. That our body, physiologically speaking, knows how to adjust and knows how to make room for baby and knows how to make the changes that it needs to make. It knows that I need to create more blood because there's another being in your body. And so I want you to celebrate that. I want you to celebrate that you have the capacity of doing this and that you are meant to succeed in this. Now, I want you to journal, like I said earlier, I want you to journal and tell yourself, how can I internalize my best experience for myself in my mind? What is in my mind right now that will help me in this process, right? For me, it has been letting go of the expectations. I've let go of the expectations that I will not cry because I probably will. I have let go of the expectations that I will be super strong and never need the assistance, right? As far as like my support team, because I that's why I have them to remind me, right? So that's part of the empowerment. Who do you have to have with you in this process of labor to help you stay empowered, right? Because through this journey of pregnancy, you have to know and decide, are these decisions something that I'm making for myself? Am I empowering myself, or is someone forcing me into making this decision? That's number one. How can I accept this process? How can I give myself self compassion? Do they agree with my decisions? No, that's okay. I'm taking some responsibility for that. Okay. And just understand how we are emotional beings. We are emotional beings. There is no way of getting out of that. We're humans in this human experience. And it's about giving yourself the ability to remind yourself that you get to choose which direction you want to take. There's already some decisions that I'm making for baby that a lot of people don't agree with, and that's okay. I'm not going to share them with you here, right? But there's already decisions that most people would not do. Why? Because it's not part of the social norm, right? It's not part of that. It's different. And you get to do whatever best works for you, whether it's different, whether it's similar, whether it's the same. I want you to know that you get to empower you. You are the one that gets to choose if you allow somebody else, another person, another group to make you feel something. And here's something that one of my coaches told me a while back. She said, Carla, the moment that you allow somebody else to make you feel something, right? Especially if it's a negative, more of a negative, uncomfortable emotion, then they own you. So if someone causes you to feel fear, then that person in that specific situation owns you, right? It sounds harsh, but I was like, oh my God, like I do not want this person to be in control of how I feel. No, thank you, right? I'm going to now choose, how do I want to feel? How do I choose to feel? And it's one of those things that's how we start to understand our emotional being, our emotional sense. And if you are someone who is very in your head, very, there's a lot of people who are very analytical, right, very logical, then I want you to allow yourself in this process to let go a little bit of a lot of that logic, especially in pregnancy, and give yourself a little more feeling, right? If something isn't logical to you, that's okay. What does that make you feel, it not being logical or not making sense for you? If you don't understand why your body is changing in some sort of way, ask questions, get a support team, right? And ask yourself, why do I need to know the why here? What if you can ask yourself, how can I understand this a little bit more? Instead of why is this happening to me, is how can I understand this lack of appetite, right? You can then go into the science and the data if you want to. And then you're like, okay, celebrate a little bit and say, okay, I feel happy that I went and found out exactly how this happens, right? And that's possibly what's going on with me. So that's one way to empower yourself. So this is just like the first talk masterclass that I wanted to create for you, talking about how emotional this is and how we're going to have the ups, we're going to have the downs, we're going to have the sides and the other things. And labor is going to be the same. It's just going to be in a condensed version of pregnancy. Okay. So labor is going to be the ups, the downs, the twists, the turns, all those things, all those changes much quicker because we've had 9 months. Some people say 10 months. We've had 9 months to create a being, to create something in our body, and slowly accepted those changes, right? But now we're going into labor, and that's going to be within a certain window of hours, okay? And that essentially is the condensed version of the pregnancy. And just try to remind yourself in this process how you want to empower yourself, how you are the driver of your own body, how you are the only one that understands what's on inside, how you are the one that can decide for yourself, right? You can decide for yourself, and how this is what's best for you. I don't know what you feel. They don't know what you feel, but you do. You know what you're thinking. You can blurt that out. You can say that out so someone can give you some kind of knowledge if that's what you want. And so just know that labor is part of the process. It's part of the process. And one thing that I've done also to empower myself is like when I have some weird emotion physical change in my body, right? Like one of those has been like sciatica and a lot of like side back pain. I just remind myself this is part of the process. Oh, that's just uncomfortable. Okay. Whew, I'm strong. I can do this. It's part of the process. My body's changing, right? So I want you to remind yourself that this is part of the process. It may be uncomfortable. Sometimes it seems scary because we don't understand it. And that's why we go into these scary feelings. Yeah. And so just know that you are stronger than you think. When you start to feel some kind of little doubt in your mind, ask yourself, what is important to me in this process to empower myself and get out of this icky feeling, right? Do I feel sad about this? Oh, okay. Is this my sadness or is this somebody else's? Do I need to feel this maybe sadness at this moment? Great. How long do I need to feel this sadness? Yeah. And when you determine that, you say, okay, when I'm done with this, how do I want to feel next? What do I want to do next to get me out of this? Trust me, I do that all the time. Now, I'm excited. Great, I'm excited. How can I keep this excitement? Let me write this down. How did this start so I can then bring this back in case I ever need it? I'm excited about labor. Am I a little nervous about it? Yes, of course I am. But I'm going to choose to feel more of the excitement. Like, yes, it's going to come with all the things. It's going to come with all those other situations. It's going to come with the unknowns. It's going to come with the frustrations and the, oh my God, is this over yet? Right? I've seen it. And I remind myself it's part of the process. I remind myself we are fucking, what did I say? Lionesses. We are so strong. We are such strong beings that only we can do this. There are things happening in our body that we don't know. And that's why we have a birth team, a support team that I can ask questions to. And then, should they suggest something, how can I empower myself to making the best choice for me and my body? Because when I make the best choice for me, that means that I'm making a good or best choice for baby coming soon. Okay. So I want you to share, if you're watching the replay, what you think so far about what I've said. I know I've gone a little roundabout. I was going to do this with slides and more proper, but I wanted to also come in from this place of really feeling what I feel, really understanding in myself that by me just being very genuine and honest about how my experience has been and the thoughts that have come through my mind, how that has helped me continue to empower myself. And my first trimester, like I said, I was not empowered. Not at all. It really started second trimester when I decided to celebrate myself, when I decided to invest in some photographs to celebrate this change, right? How I decided to celebrate by um creating a training, not creating a conducting a training during the second trimester, and how freaking able we are, how, we can do this. And I just am here to remind you that you are emotional and you are empowered, that you know what's best for you, and that you know what your body needs. Listen to that. If there's some kind of question, you can always reach out to me if you have some kind of specific emotion that you're like, hey Carla, how can I get out of this? Right? That's where I work in, right? As I worked with people in releasing stuck, negative, uncomfortable emotions to empower themselves, to get back from the effect side into the cause side, to get out of the reasons, the excuses, the someone is driving my life, and to I'm driving my own life. I get to choose what emotions I feel now. Okay. And so I am cheering you on. If you are about to be a mama, if you're expecting, congratulations. I am so happy for you. I think 2023 has been one of these years in which everyone's having babies. Um, and it's a time that we empower ourselves. If you have questions, like I said, if you want some extra support, if you just want some, like, Carla, help me get out of this stuck state, send me a message. That's what I'm here for. I've been a doula. I know the process of pregnancy and labor. I'm going through the pregnancy and labor myself. And it's an interesting one. If you're not sure what words or emotions to put into your experience, you can, one of my go-tos is, this is an interesting experience, right? It's an adventure. Can I smile through this pain, right? Maybe, maybe not, right? And just know that it's part of the process. And I'm cheering you on. I'm so happy. At some point, let's share pictures if you want to share pictures of baby and that process. I'm going to be creating a birth story journey, pregnancy and birth story journey coming soon, probably after baby. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see how Carla's emotional being feels. And if you have questions on communication and how to communicate best with yourself to help yourself to get out of the hurt part of the self, because it's so easy for us to go into the hurting ourselves emotionally with our thoughts, with those things, the stories that we say in our mind. It's so easy to go there. If you want guidance in that, just let me know. But I decided to do this. It's been something that I've been wanting to do, has been to create this for women. And I'm going to create something um, more in depth too, right? When it comes to pregnancy. And if it interests you, let me know in the comments. Send me a message, carla@metafitmetamind.com, because there's some really exciting things coming here for you expecting to be mamas. And even I may create a series for dads, right? Because I think dads also need the support. And, that's going to come after. We'll see how that plays out. And so if if this is something that's helpful for you, if you think that you need the accountability, the encouragement to keep yourself empowered, to keep yourself in your acceptance, your self-responsibility, and your self-compassion space during your pregnancy, then let me know. It's something that's exciting to me to just continue to support you and to answer any questions that you may have. If there's some kind of emotion that's been a constant during your journey, let me know. Let me know, because that's why we do this, right? That's why we're here, to help each other out, to support each other, to celebrate each other. And I want you to really celebrate yourself, that you are powerful, you are strong, you are emotional, and you are empowered. All right. So thank you so much for listening to all of this. Like I said, if you're going to watch the replay, there's a couple slides that I did share that you did not get here on Insta. And that's okay. I think you may have gotten what you need at the moment. I will be creating something in a couple of weeks. Oh, did I want to share this? I did want to share this. Let me share something on this. I don't know how to share it here on Instagram. But I'm going to share this with you really quick because I think this is really important. And you'll be able to listen to it here on Instagram. So, one of the things about our human experience, right, has been how we may see, feel, hear, smell, taste experiences, right? And this takes us to those events. Either we're pregnant, right? This is the experience we have, but we either hear, see somebody else's pregnancy journey, somebody else's pregnancy story, right? That will then get taken into this next part of the experience, in which we either generalize information, like if somebody, and you're free from this, and your family had a C-section, a cesarean birth, oh my God, then that means, and my aunt has had this, and so, that means we're all in this because we're in the same family. That means that I'm going to too. No, that does not mean that at all. You can delete information. You can say, do I, you know, excuse me, sorry, I'm deleting this information. Like as a doula, I deleted a lot of information and now I'm experiencing it. Distorting, right? Like, oh man, like a lot of people, women say that it is painful, right? To go into labor and birth. How are we distorting this information? Because most of the time it's whoa exploded into the ethers of this is how worse this can be. And it doesn't have to be that way for you. Um, for me, I'm choosing to call it uncomfortable feelings and changes, right? Is it probably going to hurt? Probably, right? And I'm accepting that, right? And that takes me into how I value things, my attitude behind it, my feelings, my decisions, the language that I choose to use with this experience, which takes me to my internal representation of like what those 6 things that I said that we do in our mind. We see, hear, feel, taste, smell, and self talk, which lead us to our emotions, how our body moves, right? Because if I'm here, I'm kind of down, I'm not really excited. But if I'm here, I feel more empowered and more excited and more like, woo, right? Which then takes us to our behavior and our actions, which then equals to our results. And so this is just something that I wanted to share with you as far as our emotions, that we're all going to experience this very, very differently. Okay. So I hope this gives you some knowledge. If you are like, whoa, Carla, that's a lot of information. I don't know. Can you help me understand this some more? Definitely. I can definitely help you some more on this. But I'm just really happy. I'm happy that, in 6 weeks, I guess, 6-ish weeks, baby will maybe be coming or be here at that point. If you're almost there, great. If you have a few months left, let's keep talking. Let's keep chatting. Tell me your emotions. Tell me what you're feeling, right? Maybe I can help you find the way, the bridge behind getting yourself from this maybe disempowered space to an empowered space. Maybe going from a space of, I've had an experience of birth before and I felt this way and I want to feel this way now. I'm just here to do that and just be a guiding light for you and you to find your own empowerment, because you're going to choose how that is for you. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I have. Thank you so much for watching, for listening. I will probably be putting this into some kind of something for you that you can have. If you want more guidance, if you want more support in this emotional journey that is called pregnancy, and then the emotional journey that will be labor, then send me a message because I'm here. Okay? Of course. I hope this was somewhat helpful. And if, there's still things that you're still wondering about, pardon my crown. I love it. Oh, I know who you are. Then let me know, because this is like something that I love to talk about, to get into, to understand that we are all meant for this and we can empower each other, right? And the moment that you understand how your internal world works, which can change, right? But once you start to understand that unconscious space and where that comes from in your past, then that will help you now into the next thing, into the next thing. And just know that you are just fucking strong. So keep going. Let's cheer each other on. Let's celebrate each other and celebrate the fact that we can do this. So, with that being said, Instagram, thank you so much. I'll talk to you all later. And if you want the replay, send me a message and I can send you the replay. Okay? All right. Peace. And here on Facebook, thank you so much for watching. Again, here with you too. Tell me if you watched the replay, if you want the replay, or if you want any more questions. Like I said, let me know because I will be creating way more things here as far as our journeys of motherhood, parenting, all the things. I've step parented already, and now I'm going into like fully making decisions for my kid, which is an interesting one. And so if you want some empowerment in that space, just let me know. So have a great rest of your Friday, great rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.